Video game death scenes. Something that everyone who's played a video game has seen, at least once. You're not a perfect gamer. You're not the best at the video game. You may think you are, you may be now. But once upon a time, you were not. Like probably many of you out there, I suck at video games. And I see these quite a lot. There's some really fun and magical ones out there that I'd like to talk about today. So let's get started. If you haven't already, please hit that like and subscribe button. Helps out the channel. Let's start off with one of my favorite games of all time, Super Metroid. So Super Metroids is interesting because depending on where at on the screen you die, that's where the character's death is. It doesn't move to the center of the screen. It's really cool. And then Samus's outfit or suit explodes off of her. It's revealed underneath what Samus looks like. It's very interesting, especially like if this was your first Metroid game and you weren't aware that Samus was a woman. You found out when you died, which was probably very fucking early in the game. We'll keep following with Metroid here, with Metroid Fusion on the Game Boy Advance. Came out years later, but it still followed the same sort of death animation where Samus dies and her suit explodes off of her, once again revealing what is underneath the suit. The last one in the Metroid series that I have here is Metroid Zero Mission. Again, it follows the same formula. Samus dies, she explodes onto a black screen showing what is underneath. And I think this is the first time we actually see the Zero suit part of Samus, and it's not just like a unitard thing that like fighting characters wear. Next, we'll talk about Zelda games. The first one being A Link to the Past, which sort of follows suit with the way that Super Metroid and the Metroid series worked. You'd spin around and die onto a blank screen, and it's game over. Although Link doesn't explode into his nudity, it's still roughly the same sort of death screen that you get to see with the Metroid games there. The next one is Ocarina of Time as Adult Link, and it again follows suit. It's the same sort of thing. We see Link eat shit down onto the ground after he dies, and the screen goes dark, and it just says, game over. The next one will be Majora's Mask, which is basically the same thing as Ocarina of Time. Link gets hit for that final hit, and he falls over, eats shit, and dies. Screen goes dark, takes you back to the last time you saved, because Majora's Mask is a shit save system. It's a good death scene. Next, we'll talk about the very iconic Grand Theft Auto death screen. You get killed in a matter of ways in this game. You can get punched to death, you could drown, you can get shot to death, and each one has their own kind of death animations. I've only shown two here. One where you're getting punched and your body ragdolls, and the next one where you get shot and your body sort of does the same ragdoll. And the screen fades to gray and it says, you died, like Dark Souls, and then you start over from the hospital. I don't think Dark Souls has hospitals, though. The next two we're going to talk about are the F-Zero games. So that would be F-Zero on the Super Nintendo and F-Zero X on the N64, starting with F-Zero on the Super Nintendo. Both of them have very similar death scenes where your vehicle blows up and it just says, you lost, or ya dunzo, kid, or retired. One of those two. The next one will be a couple Mario games. Super Mario Bros. On Super Nintendo because it's the fun good collection. And Mario just gets flopped up into the air when he doesn't have his mushrooms or anything. And he has no power-ups. You die, you take a life. And for Super Mario 3, it's the same exact thing. You get shot up into the air and then you get brought back to the world map instead of just starting the level over. I'm gonna do these two together because they're sort of in the same style of game-ish. So this would be Mega Man X and Castlevania Symphony of the Night. So for Mega Man X, Mega Man just fucking explodes. That's all it is. He just explodes. There's nothing more to it. He literally just explodes into energy. That's it. He dies. As for Castlevania, Alucard takes a whole shit ton of damage to finally die. And he again just turns into this blue energy. Then the screen fades away and you get a nice voice that says, game over. Star Fox is another very iconic death scene where you take enough damage, your wings get all messed up, your ship starts to smoke, and you crash into the ground and you explode. Specifically here on the first level where I did this clip from, one of still alive team members can say when you die. Super Mario 64 is another one of those that you get to see like Mario's full death. You get hit enough times to lose all of your health. Mario's eyes turn into an X, or he gets sunken into quicksand or whatever. Bowser's face comes and you lose a life. Mamma mia! Now, GoldenEye here took me forever to actually get killed, but it's a very interesting one because not only do you have the iconic blood red over the eyes and James Bond falling over, but you get a nice little cinematic afterwards of multiple different angles showing how you died. That's very interesting and really cool to watch. I know this video probably wasn't very long, but I think we had some fun. The final one here will be Banjo-Kazooie. You could die in multiple different ways in this game, and I'm going to show you two different ways. One being attacked and losing all your health, the second one drowning. So the first one, when you're being attacked, you get to see Banjo flop over and die. And then the screen fades out and brings you back in with a new life. The second one, the drown, you actually see Banjo and Kazooie drown in the water before it blanks the screen out and brings you back with a new life. It's very interesting, and it's a very fun death screen. That's all I have for today. I thought this would be a little fun idea to go through some death screens in video games and show what happens when you die in video games, because not everyone has played these games, not everyone is going to die in these games and see these, although, you know, I see them constantly, like I mentioned before. I'm not a very good fucking gamer, am I? Thank you all for watching, I do appreciate it, and you all have a great rest of your day.